very lost. Before I came to FBP, I was truly extremely lost. And I was raised all the way back in India and went to a Catholic school. So I had a sense of knowing Jesus a little bit. Growing in India is really different than over here. And when I was little, I would ask my mom, I'd be like, why do we have so many gods? Why does Christianity only talk about Jesus? And why are Muslims like this and whatnot? She would just tell me, join your hands, close your eyes, there's only one God. It was very confusing as a child to understand the concept of it. I just kind of, I think, lost faith. I went to Dallas Baptist University. God led me there, helped me kind of get introduced to the Bible, which was a big thing. We had Bible in our curriculum where we would study maybe a couple verses from each and every book. So I did not really know how to comprehend everything, but it was an interesting start to start reading the Bible. And I would kind of question things. I did not have anyone who I could go to and have discussions, where FBP became a big part of that resource for me.
When I was younger, when I was a teenager and I fell away, I found that really I connected with a lot of the anchoring that I received as a young child, like it's in the Bible. I found that foundation of my life is when I started questioning things, the questions kind of led me back to, okay, Jesus is the answer for my life. As I began to get older, out of my teenage years, I found that connection to these older churches and hymns and really focusing on exactly the Word of God and getting into that every week in a very traditional church setting, that strengthened my steps with the Lord. Later in life, when we started dating and I knew the next step was I wanted us to start talking about marriage and family and these bigger steps in adult life, I wanted a church setting that I knew that we could be a part of, that ultimately our kids could be a part of someday, that would have that same criteria.
When Collin and I came to First Baptist, I remember I was very nervous that people honestly might be judgmental, because I come from a background where dark skin is kind of discriminated, and clearly we are interracial, and he's fair, and therefore I was very worried that people will somehow look down upon me. And that was not the case at all. Everyone was just like, oh, hi, y'all look great together. I remember people telling I'm very beautiful, which is cute, because it's like, it was not something I was used to. That was a big deal. That was my first Sunday, and I just come in here and everyone was just like warm and cozy and everyone's welcoming. It feels like you're at home. I feel like that's something that I was lacking in my life, kind of not having family here, and First Baptist just is my family now. I had my first discussion with Craig about kind of having my honest opinions shared with him about how I was confused, because up until that time I would still consider that I was not really a Christian. I was just kind of debating these ideas, these thoughts, and then finally, after having a lot of conversations with Craig, it kind of helped me understand that I was called to be here at First Baptist.
There's been some weeks when I come in here and I'm thinking about this from work or this from life, I think like, oh, there's no way something's gonna happen here that's gonna have an effect on me at this point. My head's in too many different places. I kid you not, every week there is something that is preached, prayed, or sung that has an effect on me. And that's without exaggeration. God's in this place and he has something to say to me and to us, and it hits me every time. We're always in a better place when we leave here.
When I was in a different faith, I was exposed to donations made for religious reasons, and I just never understood that. To be very honest, I would question the idea of making donations for religious things. I would not understand the concept of giving. But in the past 2 years, and being a new Christian, I was still trying to understand these ideas, and I got called to be part of the leadership council. The church doesn't just make decisions about what happens with the money that comes in or goes out and where it gets allocated. We've had quarterly business meetings where all of our church is invited to come vote to support or not support that decision.
At First Baptist Plano, there's people of all different age categories, and I feel like that's a component that's not there in a lot of churches that you go to. It's either really, really young people or much older people, and you don't get both. Anytime that you have people that are making decisions for the stewardship and help of others that are going to come up in the Lord, even for a generation or two away, I think that is a really good sign of a church that is following in accordance with Christ's teaching.
Funnily enough, we just bought a house, so like as new homeowners, we understand the pain and the struggle of a debt. It just helped me understand that we can all think, decide together as a church, but also contribute towards a big initiative.
We've been entrusted with this property from God, and we're just caretakers. That's all we are. And one day in this world, our journey is going to be over, and somebody else is going to enjoy that. It's a very similar feeling in that this is the mission that God has had way before any of us were ever here, and will be going on forever and always after our time in this world is over. And just like how we're caretakers of our home, we can be caretakers of the house of God very similarly. And I feel like it's a privilege to be able to contribute to that effort with the blessings that God's given us.